this magnitude on television. Listen to the stipulation. It's for television time remaining or until one team remains unbeaten. The stipulation: the legal man in the ring can tag a member of any other team, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be his own partner. So that's the difference. And listen to this. When one member of a team is beaten, his team is eliminated. The contestants, first, Rick Morton and Robert Gibson, the Rock and Roll Express. And in front of them at 445 pounds, Brad Armstrong and Tom Pritchard. Jake the Snake Roberts and Jack Victory. And at 460 pounds, the Dirty White Boys.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, lots have been drawn prior to this match to determine which two men will start. And as you see, it's Tommy Pritchard and Rick Morton, Joel, that will start this match. The most unusual match that I have ever seen on television, no doubt about it, but where else but on Mid-South Wrestling?
Well, no doubt about it. Grizzly Smith in his continuing vigil to keep the action hot and heavy here on Mid-South Wrestling has just done another fine job of very, very creative stipulations for this match. One that I think will prove to be very exciting just because of the caliber of athletes that are involved and the stipulations that are involved. There are so many different strategies that can stem from this thing because of the different rules. And I think maybe even a further explanation of the rules is in order at this time, Jim.
Well, I'll tell you what, Joel, the thing about this is that, remember,
look at Ricky Morton's just about got a first fall here.
And if a member of a team is pinned, then his whole team is eliminated. And any legal man in the ring can tag anyone else. And it doesn't necessarily have to be his teammate. For example, well, you just saw the tag right there. Now Jake Roberts is in against Tommy Pritchard, but Pritchard did choose to tag his own teammate, of course, Brad Armstrong.
No doubt about it. Pritchard could have tagged Lynn Denton of the Dirty White Boys if he so desired. Brad Armstrong with a flying body press. Another one. I might have thought that he'd have gone to the well once too often, but that's the thing about Brad Armstrong.
Well, Jake Roberts,
so quickly.
He slithered right out of the ring and tagged his partner, Jack Victory, who's in there now against Brad Armstrong. Great action here, Joel. And next week, Kerry Von Erich will be here. Gentleman Chris Adams, I know Grizzly Smith's trying to negotiate a contract for those two men to wrestle each other right here on TV. They'll be here next week. Plus, Brickhouse Brown returns to Mid-South here next week. A lot of exciting things, and newcomer Steve Casey from England will be here. So a lot of great things coming up in the next few weeks.
Well, there are a lot of things to look forward to, but fans, if you just joined us, you've missed some terrific action already. This has been one of the most action-packed hours I've ever had the pleasure of commentating in. And to be frank with you, Jim, I've had a hard time keeping up with all the action. There's been so much of it. Jake the Snake Robert made the tag, but in there he took a little liberty on Brad Armstrong. I don't think he liked the beating that Brad was putting on him. And Lynn Denton now with a distinct advantage is taking full advantage of Brad Armstrong right now.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'll say this. I know that Ricky and Robert, the Rock and Roll Express, are ready to get their hands on the Dirty White Boys. Well, I'll tell you one thing. Can you imagine an elimination tag team bout like this, just like structured like this, with such teams as the Freebirds, the Road Warriors, the Midnight Express, the Dirty White Boys, and our own Rock and Roll Express? It would be awesome.
Oh, no doubt about that, Jim. I'd pay for a ticket to see that in any arena in the country. And Brad Armstrong gets out of his predicament and tags into his partner, Tommy Pritchard. Tommy Pritchard in with drop kicks.
Ronnie West having a hard time giving Jake the Snake out. Oh, no! They ran Pritchard into the Dirty White Boy, Tony Anthony.
Tony Anthony quickly with the aggressive maneuver, his coup de grace. And Tommy Pritchard is fallen.
Tommy Pritchard has been beaten by the Dirty White Boys. That eliminates he and his partner. And ladies and gentlemen, we have 3 teams left. And we'll be back with more of this tremendous encounter right after this commercial timeout. We're back here, ladies and gentlemen, on Mid-South Wrestling in this 4-team elimination tag team match. One team has already been eliminated, Armstrong and Pritchard. So now it's the Rock and Roll Express and the Dirty White Boys. They're going at it.
Well, the fight they had last week is being taken to the ring right now as Robert Gibson and Lynn Denton are really going after it. But Lynn goes running to his partner. It looked as if he was about to make the tag, but I don't think he made it legally. Ronnie West trying to get things straightened out.
Well, you know, Joel, the interesting situation we have here now, Ricky and Robert, the Rock and Roll Express, against really 4 men, because there's no doubt about the Dirty White Boys, Victory and Jake the Snake, have no love lost to the Rock and Roll Express.
Well, that's where the strategy of a 4-team elimination tag team match comes into play. We saw the first team that got eliminated, Tommy Pritchard and Brad Armstrong, they were in the ring most of the time. It was like they were fighting their battle against 6 men. Ooh, it's somewhat like regular tag team strategy in that you have to keep a fresh man in the ring at all times, but you're fighting against more men. Jake the Snake.
Cheap shot by Jake the Snake in the kidney area of Robert Gibson. And now Victory tagging in the more experienced Jake the Snake Roberts, one of the top athletes in all of wrestling. And Jake the Snake, methodical, devious, calculating. Now he tags in Tony Anthony of the Dirty White Boys, and they obviously, Joel, have Robert Gibson at a definite disadvantage.
Well, I think that Jake the Snake could have continued to add to Robert Gibson's disadvantage, but he chose to use the strategy of tagging in the freshest man in the group, Tony Anthony, who has not been in yet, to further gain the upper hand on Robert Gibson. There, Tony Anthony tags into his team partner, Lynn Denton, and Lynn just crowns Robert Gibson in the back of the head. Ricky Morton trying desperately to get in there, try to make that tag, keep Robert fired up, whatever he could do to keep this man going in his vigil against these 4 men. And Robert Gibson off the ropes manages to connect with a hard right cross, but it wasn't enough to stop the momentum of Lynn Denton, the Dirty White Boys, Jake the Snake, Jack Victory.
Well, it's obvious that the new strategy, Joel, is that there's 4 against 2. That's what we're looking at, as they are really, all 4 men have made a tremendous effort to keep Robert Gibson in the ring and prevent him from tagging Ricky Morton.
Well, this could be it for the Rock and Roll, but no, Robert manages to get his foot onto the rope. Jake the Snake goes into a rear chin lock to try to further choke down that supply of oxygen. You hear the fans going, "Go, Robert, go. Go, Robert, go," and you can't imagine the help that the fans give you in a match. Robert Gibson at this point, I think, really needs it. Robert trying to struggle up to a base, extricate himself from that rear chin lock, but he's in trouble now. He's against 2 men. Jake the Snake has a 4 count to get out of the ring. This is the strategy.